That would have been a smart idea, but you see, the difference here, Zunar, is that I'm not a smart person. So anyway, welcome back to Relay no Kiseki. For our next game in our marathon, we are going to hand the stream over to me, actually, with Nayuta, Boundless Trails. And joining me on commentary this fine morning is...
What's up, guys? My name's Zunar. I run CS1, and I might be learning this game too in the future.
Alright, that is fantabulous. So, let me just pop out the chat so that I'm not completely isolated with this loon for 3 hours. And then we should be good to go. Is audio coming in okay?
Sounds good to me.
Alright, looking like we're good to go. As a reminder to the chat, the Ore no Bandana counter is 160, and I'm going to try to reinstate that for Cold Steel 2. Just throwing it out there so that we can hopefully have some sort of reference. Game audio is high? Alright, have -3 decibels. Okay, so with that, we're good to go. 3, 2, 1, go. So you've probably got a lot of questions right now, like, where's CS1? What is this game? Why does it exist? Why does Schtolteheim have such a penchant for rhetorical questions? Well, this game is Nayuta Boundless Trails. It is an action RPG spin-off, as technically a part of the Trails series, but not really related to any of the other games. In fact, it combines elements from Ys, Zwei, and the Legend of Heroes to create something pretty much entirely unique on its own. Why is a Japanese-only game in this marathon? Get out.
Yeah, dude, get all the weebs out of here.
Yeah, what do they think this is? A JRPG marathon? God. They come in here and they expect us to play all these Japanese games for them. Quads. So anyway, the main story is this adventurer boy is named Nayuta because he was so self-centered that he had to put his name on the title. He just came back from a foreign study semester where his sister, ? I never actually paid much attention to this game's plot, and his big brother, ? are studying astral fragments that drop from the sky. Why do they drop from the sky? We have absolutely no clue, but when you put them under a specific type of microscope, you get magical images inside of them. It's like those things you get from breakfast cereals.
Lucky Charms.
But then, like, 1 minute later, the game abandons that plot point and goes into Nayuta and his quote-unquote brother Signa's business basically being knockoff bracers. And they don't even try to sugarcoat it. They have a mailbox right in front of their house that contains job requests from basically anybody in town who wants to hire them.
And you will use the term job loosely.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like requests. Like, this guy wants
Yeah, this guy Dorado, he has the hots for my sister, which is incredibly disturbing.
Yes.
So he wants my sister,
Your
Eartha.
sister? I thought it was Nayuta's sister.
I meant his as in Nayuta's. This is the part where you learn that running Ys versus Trails completely destroyed my ability to talk.
You had an ability to talk in the first place?
Touché. But yeah, Eartha, in gameplay, she makes lunchboxes that we can bring into levels with us. And that's one of the most drastic differences in mechanical structure between this game and Legend of Heroes. You have very limited access to healing throughout the entire game. But the healing we do get is going to matter a lot, particularly once we get past the 2-hour mark of the run. Does the protag shipwreck? Surprisingly, no. Actually, not entirely surprisingly, because according to Falcom protagonist conventions, shipwrecks are for red-haired antagonists.
The cutscenes are devolving into slideshows because the PSPs can't handle running this game fast forward during the cutscenes.
Yeah, this is running on a PSTV, and though the game runs at a stable 30 when you're not trying to fast forward it, when you do try, it doesn't really do much good for the frame rate.
Particularly one cutscene later on.
Well, you just love to foreshadow everything, don't you?
That's why I'm here, isn't it? For memes and foreshadowing?
Yeah, basically. Actually, a fun bit of trivia. It's possibly just a coincidence, but Nayuta bears a very striking resemblance to Forte, the protagonist of Legend of Heroes 5, Song of the Ocean. And similarly, his childhood friend here, Lyra, who has absolutely no idea how to confess her feelings to anybody, resembles Una from the same game. What is this game on? This is on PSTV. It's native to PSP, but I ended up running it on the PSTV because I would much rather use a controller than whatever the hell the PSP's analog stick is.
You know you can actually hook it up through a computer and use like a Xbox 360 controller with a remote joy, right?
I mean, I can, but it's a whole lot easier to route my Sega Saturn controller through a Mayflash adapter, and then route the Mayflash adapter through a Cronus Max, and then route the Cronus Max to the PSTV.
What?
What are you, technologically illiterate?
Sounds complicated.
Okay, so I just ignored 30 seconds of plot. So what happened was, there was an astral fragment that came out of the sky, but it was too big for them to put him under a microscope. In fact, it was too big for them to do anything with it, because it's a giant tower. So as not off-bracers, we have to go investigate the tower.
Even though our master says no, but we're just like, yes, we're going to, because we want to get dangerous.
Oh, this is a... yeah. Get ready for a whole ton of bangers. This area basically serves as your tutorial level to get you used to the game's mechanics and, you know, elementary stuff like jumping and all that stuff that I don't have to explain because I'm a speedrunner and I keep forgetting to hold down the turbo button.
Platforming in a JRPG? What is this?
Yeah, some speedrunner I am. PB pace is automatically ruined. And actually, on the subject of Forte and Una from Legend of Heroes 5, they actually make fun of how much Adol shipwrecks because Forte and his family actually live in a shipwrecked ship.
Oh.
Like, it's funny, they converted the deck into a kitchen, they've got tables where there are wood planks jutting out. It's one of the weirdest homes I've ever seen, but it's really memorable. Cigna with a bro moment. Now, if only Gagarv actually came over to the US with a not awful translation.
What is it with this game and people having weird names? Nayuta, Cigna.
I mean, it's Falcom.
It's true.
If you tried to get Falcom to design a decent name for you, okay, you'd get Lyra, but that's beside the point. So we've reached the top of the tower, but unfortunately we've been besieged by strange people. And equally strange people are being besieged by them. This is the part of the run where it dawns on me that all of my commentary is redundant, so I should probably just be quiet.
This is a marathon, Stoffel. You have to keep talking.
Darn. So this fairy-looking thing on the ground here is Noi, and Noi is incredibly distressed because she just got her magical MacGuffin stolen from us. Is that dark fact? I never made the connection, actually. So, Noi is destined to become our second party member, but she wants to reject the fate that's given her, so she tries to escape. So she conjures up a portal inside of a tree, which apparently had been there this whole time without anybody ever doing any research into it. And...
sounds like everybody just leaved it alone.
yeah. Nayuta and Signa, being the brave, not bracers they are, they decide to investigate.
You didn't get my pun.
Sorry, I was paying attention to the chat.
I'm very sad.
So we've just entered some strange alternate world where Noi had escaped to, and there's some girl laying in a bench or something. I was going to have movies on for this game, but unfortunately we are a bit behind in the marathon, so I'm going to have to cut those ambitions a little bit short. What platform is this game on? This is on PSP. You can get it through the Japanese PlayStation Network or PSP UND. Unfortunately, though there is a fan translation for this game, it is, ooh, dude. It's a thing.
It's a bit on the rocky side, let's put it that way.
It's very much a thing. I remember when I first meet it.
Yes.
It's worse than the Zero translation leak. It's bad.
Really bad.
I mean, you can get what's going on, but not really much else aside from that. It was machine translated for the longest time until, like, last year, until it got a massive edit, but that didn't really help much. And that's not intended as an offense toward the translators, it's just...
It's slightly better than machine translating the whole thing, but not by much.
Yeah. It's rough. So we've entered the first level of the game in the strange alternate world, and Noi has agreed to join us. Because she's rationalized that she probably can't keep running away from people who are 3 times her size. The reason why...
escape her fate.
Yes, she cannot escape the fate of being the second part of our team. The reason why I'm killing a lot of enemies despite that being slow is because every stage has a specific objective to fulfill, and doing so will earn you things called stamps. Stamps are used to upgrade your character by talking to your mentor/teacher, who we had trained with earlier in the prologue.
Master Orvis.
Yes, Master Orvis. So, one of the main parts of this route is balancing the stamps I earn with, you know, going fast. Fortunately, that stage actually went really well because I was able to carry my chain all the way through it. Chains are also incredibly important because they can affect your strength and money gains. When you get a chain of 20 hits without getting hit yourself, you get a buff to your strength. With a chain of 40, you get a buff to your magic, and with a chain of 60, you get a buff to your money.
Capitalism!
Yes. We're Racketeer up in here now. So, usually if you see me doing some strange map objective, it's to fill out a stamp. In particular, I'm gonna try to get the objective stamp here, which is to pick up 50 of these mirror crystals. Overall, it's not that difficult. If I stick to the main route, then I should earn 51. I also have to keep watch for these guys, because they can swat me, and I would prefer not to lose my chain, because there's a mini-boss coming up. I say that and then I lose my chain.
Karma.
Yeah, I got my just desserts. So we got a special mini-boss here. This one has a gear above its head. And the reason for that is going to be made apparent in just a bit.
It's a gearhead.
Oh my god.
You're welcome.
So as the game elucidates, bosses with gears above their head are actually enemies that have contained Nayuta's powers and stolen them for themselves. So by beating them, we get to gain those powers back. In particular, that boss had Noise Art Fleur Edge, which is a nice, spammable early game art that we're going to be using for the next hour or so of game. So overall, this stage is going decently. I got hit a couple more times than I would have liked to, but I can't really complain all that much, since I should still meet the stage objective. Additionally, you get one stamp just for beating the level, and you get a third stamp if you get all of the large Mira crystals and the treasure chest in the level. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that in this level because getting the treasure chest requires backtracking. So that's one of the many compromises I had to make when routing out this game, because the eventual goal is to get 36 stamps by the end of Chapter 4, about an hour and a half from now. I'm going to be...
Yay!
I'm going to be getting the stage objective in this stage as well, which is to break 25 of these stage objects, and that's a good time to introduce the museum. Sometimes, when you break a stage object, a collectible item will come out, and this item can be sold at the museum in town for money. This is incredibly important, and I'm going to be using the museum several times throughout the run to make up money gaps. In particular, what I need to do by the end of the second chapter is I need to get at least 2,500 Mira. And I can best accomplish that by combining the gains I get in the levels themselves with stuff I sell at the museum.
Because capitalism.
I wouldn't say Nayuta develops a food addiction, not in this run at least, because we use food very sparingly. We only make, I believe, 4 lunchboxes throughout the whole game. Anyway, we get a piece of equipment for Noi, just gonna equip that real quick, because it buffs her magic. And I've got a decent chain heading into this Mook Rush.
Button masher.
Yes, I am not the most graceful when it comes to this game's combat. What are true ending conditions? None, actually. You just have to, play past the first final boss and first credit scenes, and the game will automatically pick up at the after story. So you don't have to do anything special to unlock the true ending, aside from beating the game normally. Yeah, it's basically CS2's epilogue, except it's actually got a less shoehorned-in story purpose. So we've completed the first 3 stages of this continent, and after completing 3 stages in a given continent, you unlock its temple. This basically serves as your "are you high enough" level to beat the boss without dying horribly level.
Which you are not.
No, I never am. I compensate for running this game on easy mode by being horribly underleveled at all times. I'm supposed to be, like, level 4 or 5 entering this level. I'm level 1. I have not had a single level up yet.
Because that is a smart idea.
Oh, it absolutely is. Smart ideas for smart people. I mean, what did I say at the beginning of this run? I'm a smart person? Yeah, I think that's what I said.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So I leveled up, and Noise Arts also leveled up there. Arts level up just by using them. You don't have to do anything special, and you also don't have to hit anything with them. So, pretty soon you're gonna see me just spamming Arts for the sake of it. And that's going to play into strategy later.
But you're wasting magic!
I mean, not exactly a waste if there's nothing to hit anyway. This temple stage is actually a bit more technically involved than it looks. This first half isn't much of a problem, aside from these jumps, which I always worry that I'm going to screw up. Okay, made it through. And you cannot phase through these turbines, and I've tried basically everything, but at this point in the game, it's just not possible, unfortunately, so we have to go about this the slow way. Which I know is a shame, because this is RPG Limit Break, and I'm supposed to be doing things fast, but unfortunately, yeah. I'm sorry, Puexel, I failed you. You can sort of jump over these horizontal turbines, so I'm going to try to balance speed.
Try being the key word.
That was actually a relatively clean first half. You're also going to notice that there's a bit of an odd rhythm to rolling. You have a cooldown on your roll when you have a weapon out on the map, but not when you don't, strangely enough. So, for the few parts of the game where I don't have my weapon drawn, I can roll faster than in levels. And now for the fight where all the budget for CS1 went.
Inglorious PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, like, I know it's difficult to tell with the slideshow frame rate from fast forward, but that cutscene's actually really well animated. This whole game is really well presented, despite being on PSP. It's just a shame that it came out so late. I believe this game was released in 2012, I want to say, and by that time the PSP was already dead in the water in the US, so unfortunately this game didn't really have a chance for a North American localization.
Feels bad, man.
Bit of a trick I can do here. I'm supposed to hit two platforms. Well, I'm supposed to hit two switches to raise those platforms, but I can get away with only hitting one switch if I just hit it at the right time. And then these gates are not like the turbines. You actually can phase through these. And I'm going to be trying that in a couple of places. Not here, though, because that would be too risky. I'm supposed to hit a switch to lower these. I can just jump through them.
You did a glitch.
Yeah. So, the stage is pretty involved, and if you know all of the tech based around it, you can save a good minute over doing all of the stuff you're supposed to do. Ow.
Wow, I hit you during the cutscene, that's fair.
Yeah, they have a tendency to do that. Fortunately, the hit doesn't actually count. Ooh, I want that. The reason you're seeing me take this slow is because the timer is actually incredibly lenient. So I have a lot more time than it seems like I do, because the switches that I need to sequentially hit don't go up for about a second after the timer stops. So I can take a lot more time than you'd think to hit switches, try to get stage items, basically do what I need to do to get as much money as possible for the 2500 Mira gate at the end of Chapter 2. There is a jump you can do at that ledge to get up to the top without hitting the final switch. The other runner of this game, Ravi, does that. I do not, because I am not Ravi.
It's a good reason not to do it.
Yeah. The difference being Ravi is a god. Music is going out of tune. I don't know why that's happening. If anybody could confirm that, I'd appreciate it. Like, I got a bit of audio crackling, earlier, but I thought that had sorted itself out. Oh, it's a Twitch bug. Okay. So now that we're a whopping level 2, we've come upon the first boss area. Every tower, and by extension every magical master gear MacGuffin, like you see there, is guarded by an idol. This one looks like this.
Yeah, it looks ugly.
There really isn't any grand strategy for this fight other than spamming the snot out of attacks. And that was actually a really good fight. It's nice getting to 2-cycle that, because that usually means I get to save up Fleur Edges for the next phase, and I did. I also get to carry my strength chain because I didn't get hit, and that's very important. Looks like this is going to be a decent fight, just need to finish him off, and there we go. Actually, on the subject of Zelda, people make a comparison between this game and the Oracle games all the time. So,
Really?
Yeah, because, you know, you have the whole seasonal mechanic that will be introduced in a few minutes. I never actually played the Oracle games, though.
It's been a while since I played those. I actually liked Ages more than Seasons, personally.
Alright, I'm gonna take a quick drink of water.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, you gotta. So, after we defeated the idol of Tower, Signa reappeared after wandering off on his own and told us that we need to stop whatever we're doing right now.
I see, he's just so nice.
Yeah, he basically said, this is way too dangerous for you, you're a kid. So you should probably just not. And I mean, in fairness, that's actually a decent reason, but it's still a bit confusing considering Signa is still wandering off somewhere in Terra and we have no idea where he is. So
Terra being the name of the ultimate war we were just in, by the way. In case we didn't say that before.
Yes. Thank you for catching that. So now we're introduced to the museum, where the curator and his assistant will collect all of the stuff that you earn in stages.
And this is why we tear things apart.
Real quick,
For
I'm going
capitalism.
to turn in my items to get a nice 240 Mira. Having 1300 Mira is very nice for this point in the run. So, since I turned in my stage items there, I should be able to get to 2500 Mira before the beginning of the next temple stage. Alright, good night, Mega Slayer. Thank you for your valiant work in keeping track of the Orion Bandanas. So, Nayuta finds a note from Signa in Orvis's hut that says he's basically gonna do his own thing and wishing us goodbyes. Because, you know, that's what all the good aloof big brothers do. So now I just gotta get back to Lost Heaven, the hub area, and oh crap, no, I got caught. Well, the jig is up, the news is out, they've finally found her.
And this is the beginning of Nayuta's harem.
Cursed commentary. So, Lyra and Eartha have found out about Lost Heaven and Terra and Noi, but fortunately they don't care all that much. Now that we're back in Lost Heaven, and that we've acquired one of the Master Gears, we get to unlock more functionality of the hub area. In particular, this is the Astrolab. And by inserting the Master Gears back into the Astrolab, we get to unlock more continents and more seasons. That's one of the more interesting mechanics of this game. Why does this look like a final boss? Nothing.
Shh. Shh. It's just your imagination.
So every continent actually has 4 seasons to it, and you unlock more seasons through various objectives. For example, by completing each chapter, you unlock one additional season. You unlock another season in the after story, and there is one season in each continent that's exclusive to New Game Plus. Also exclusive to New Game Plus, the Astrolab actually has upgrade functionality in New Game Plus, where you spend points that you earn through in-game achievements. In lieu of Steam or PlayStation Network achievements, the game keeps track of your accomplishments in-game, and gives you points to spend on stuff like additional continent seasons, attack upgrades. Really interesting stuff. It's just a shame that that's exclusive to New Game Plus.
And there's not a New Game Plus category for this game, correct?
There is, but I don't run it, because it's not all that interesting to me. So, one additional thing that each of the continents have is an administrator. This one's name is Geo. I'm going to be making fun of that plentifully come Chapter 6. And with each administrator we save, we gain an additional gear craft for Noi. This one in particular is the Gear Buster, which acts as... well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is what it does. You can just see we've earned an achievement there for completing 10 stages, I believe. So now that that's done and over with, we are finished with the continent of Altopia, and we can move on to the next continent, Rieseveld. Get ready for some serious sour pleases. Main mechanic of this stage is the switches that you hit to turn platforms back and forth. Not really all that important. What is important, though, is this treasure chest, which contains a second art slot. We're going to equip our starter magic to it, and the reason why will be made apparent later. For now, we've got a bit of a move rush. I've saved up a bit of a chain from hitting earlier enemies, so I'm hoping I can get a strength up as soon as possible here. Alright, that went smoothly. I'm gonna continue using...
fish.
Sorry, you were saying?
There's so many fish in this area. It's like a whole water-themed area.
Yeah.
Gear Buster!
Well, I mean, that's basically what Noi does, just without actually saying the attack name. This isn't Zwei 2, unfortunately.
Get stoned, get boned.
Oh, I forgot that was a line.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even though Gear Buster isn't all that useful for attacking, we have to pick it up because otherwise we'd be walled here.
Kneel before me.
Shut up, Alwen. The reason I re-equipped my starter magic, Plum Shot, is because the stage objective, or the stamp here, is to kill 10 enemies with magic. And aside from a couple instances, the starter magic actually has better homing than Lure Edge does. And I use that to more precisely kill those jumping fish enemies. And Hoppy, actually, the kneel before me spam is completely fine. I'll allow it, just this once. Just be thankful I'm not actually running Zwei for this marathon. Yeah, just keep an eye on him, Hobby. Another reason I use the starter magic here is because I actually pick it back up for the Chapter 4 boss fight, which is perhaps the weirdest in the game, so that's going to be quite a treat. How am I doing on enemies? 7. Okay, I should be reaching the threshold soon. That's 8. And then there's one over here. I didn't kill it. Whatever, I killed those two. That's 10.
You're supposed to kill things.
Nice level up and a nice stage item there. And I get that crystal because I do also get the treasure stamp in the stage.
Because this one does not require backtracking. Yay!
Yeah. One of the most intricate parts of routing this game was figuring out where to spend time to get stamps and where to just speed through.
Doesn't Ravi get different stamps at different points?
Yes, he, I don't think he gets the attack upgrade I do for the Chapter 4 boss fight, so I don't know what he routes around, but it's probably something completely different.
And if I remember right, he does a different order the later on the last dungeon, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does Chapter 6 differently. Entering the third stage now, and we get introduced to my least favorite part, well, my least favorite mechanic in the game. We have these pedestals that we have to push to get up onto that platform there, and these wouldn't be all that bad if they didn't have stupidly precise collision detection. I'm also gonna start
pushing.
I'm also gonna start spamming Plum Shot here.
This really is Zelda.
Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have to push it all the way. We can just push it over there and call it good. I'm also going to be sporadically killing some enemies here so that I can get more experience and money. Basically, any enemy that doesn't take me any time to kill, I will gladly kill, because money is very tight all throughout this run. It'd be nice if I could get a strength up here, and I can for this Mook Rush. I'm going to try to abuse that. Those salamander enemies are actually more dangerous than they seem in a speedrun sense because they can paralyze you, and that's very, very slow. Let's kill that guy here. Bit of a derp there. But we're almost done with this stage. How close is this game's combat to Ys? It plays like a somewhat slower E7, but in my opinion, the gameplay is a lot more intricate than pretty much pre-modern Eats, because you have a lot of combat tools at your disposal. Okay, I've hit the 2500 Mira gate. And oh, I was supposed to get a stamp there, but for whatever reason I didn't.
Uh-oh.
That's fine. I'll redo the stage.
You just get a secondary stamp by doing the stage over again, right?
No, actually, but, if I just redo it, then I can pick up the stamp where I missed it. It'll be a bit slow. This costs me like 2 minutes, but it's better than dead running.
Especially in America.
Yeah. So this is just something I have to do for safety. And it also lets me level up Plum Shot more.
Reset.
Yeah. Sorry, Sent. Cold Steel 1's delayed by another 2 hours. Alright, I'm gonna try to pick up all of the Mira Crystals I can find here, because the stage objective is picking up 30 of those Mira Crystals, so I'm not sure which ones I missed to not get the stamp.
Plus, you'll also get a bit more money, perhaps, right?
Yeah, I do get more money by completing the stage again, so that's a nice buffer. Don't paralyze me, please. Okay, good. That hit me, but it didn't paralyze. Oh, and I'm already level 6.
Don't you need, like, a ridiculous amount, like 8,000 Mira at some point for the...
Yeah, I need 8,000 Mira by the end of the next chapter.
That's like later on down the road, but still.
Yeah, that's about 30 minutes from now.
I like how you uncover that block over there and you just ignore it.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, so how many crystals was that? That was 37. Okay, so I guess I just played a little more sloppily than I should have. But now I'm back on my proper stamp route. I need to go back to Terra, because now that I have 2,500 Mira, I can buy a weapon upgrade.
You mean go back to the island, not Terra?
Oh, yeah, go back to Remnant Island. Good catch.
Get your places straight, Stolt.
Trying, man. It's difficult to keep track of my own thoughts with this weird voice in my head. It keeps chastising everything I do. And I don't know
your imagination.
And I don't know where it's coming from. So that's the Puriesta. It's a two-handed weapon, like the Smike Mace that we had picked up in Rieseveld 2. And that's an interesting distinction. One-handed swords have more hits in their base combo string, and they're faster, but usually they don't deal as much damage, and they have worse range. Two-handed weapons are basically the opposite. They have a lot of range and a lot of damage, but they're slow. We are mostly going to be sticking to two-handed weapons throughout this run, because the extra damage is just too good to ignore.
But they're slow.
They're not slow if you use them right. The issue being that most of the time I don't use them right. So, you also saw me
run the game.
You also saw me learn some techniques from Orvis. Those are what I spend my stamps on. In particular, that is a Meteor Strike. I just learned it from Orvis, and it's probably my best offensive option in the entire game, because it decimates enemies when you use it correctly. And it has ridiculous range. Furthermore, by getting 36 stamps, you get an upgrade to that attack that gives it even more attack and range.
As if it didn't already have enough.
Yeah. So that's the main thing I work toward as far as stamps are concerned, because that's basically the only thing that lets me damage the Chapter 4 boss at the level I'm at. Because I think at that point I'm like 6 levels under leveled for Chapter 4 boss. Anyway, this is the Rieseveld Temple stage, and unfortunately it's got water puzzles. It's also got more of those pedestals you have to hit, so this is by far the slowest temple stage. I'm gonna kill those enemies because I don't want them causing trouble later.
What are you doing, Schtolteheim? Go faster.
Man, you weren't even trying for that one. Also gonna try to pick up stage objects whenever I can, although I got quite a fair few in Rieseveld, so I should be doing alright.
Just hurry up, forehead.
Yeah, how nice that the game reminds me that I'm speedrunning it. Plum shot spam. Thanks for that, beef. More pedestals to push. In particular, we gotta push this one all the way down to the bottom level and put it here. Take a quick drink.
More block pushing! Yay!
And fortunately, I made the cycle that lets me get on that platform pretty much immediately after having reached it. I also kill a lot of enemies in here because the stage objective for this stage is to kill 50 enemies. Which is convenient because
murder!
Yeah, because I need to grind for the boss anyway, and wow. Huh. We're just gonna ignore that happen.
Nayuta, daijoubu nano?
God, I should have added a nano counter for this game. So that we'd have bonds and nanos. Because, for those familiar with Japanese, nano is noise voice tick. And a rather annoying one at that.
Rather annoying one.
Oh, wow. What an original pun. I haven't heard that one before. Ha ha ha. So I think Plum Shot is at its highest level, but I'm going to keep spamming it anyway because I cannot tell numbers.
Math!
Yeah, math is not my forte. This is why I don't speedrun actual traditional RPGs. I can hit things, but I can't calculate things.
So you're basically Estelle.
Basically, yeah, I just whack things with the Puriesta and hope that it works. I take calculated risks, but man am I bad at math. Okay, yeah, I think Plum Shot is at max level. It's either when it has 26 or 28 charges. Nice level up there. Just bank on killing. Hey. Man, where did Competent Lloyd from East vs. Trails go? Got some more Mook rushes here, and gradually we have to rise the water. Raise the water.
Rise the water.
Yeah. Flashback's a great bay, huh, Zunar?
Well, you don't really change the water level in Great Bay. You're talking about water temple. double OT.
Oh. I've never actually played either, so I wouldn't know.
Water rise up.
Water rise. That sounds like a Trails art.
Water rise.
Because actually, I noticed that, I think it's Icicle Spear is in Zero and Ao, and I actually didn't notice that it was introduced there first, because Icicle Spear is an art that we also pick up in Nayuta later on. It pretty much becomes our staple art for about half an hour after we phase out Blur Edge. Okay, there's Plumshot's final level. So it is at 28 charges, good to know.
So leveling up increases the amount of charges and its power?
Yes, charges and damage, and recharge time. So overall, leveling it up is definitely something you want to do.
Unlike leveling up yourself.
Yeah. And now that we drained the water, we have to immediately raise it again. Because whoever designed this temple has absolutely no sense of flow. Why am I still spamming Plumshot? It's at max level. Like, I just deliberated this. You actually can do combat in water, it's just very clunky, as evidenced by those enemies. So I prefer to avoid that when I can. You also...
Imagine actually being able to attack underwater.
Yeah. Also, unlike Ys, you cannot control your altitude in water. You automatically rise to the top. The only thing you can do is slow your ascent if you're paralyzed or if you do certain attacks. So, water movement is rather clunky, and I try to avoid it when I can. Just gonna break these, see if I can't get any stage items, and I can.
Water movement breaks the flow of the speedrun.
Yeah, that it does.
You're just ignoring my puns now, aren't you?
I mean, my dad always taught me, just ignore the bullies. They only want attention. Figure, hey, maybe the same logic applies here.
Fine, I'll just leave.
Okay. I will turn this speedrun right around, young man. In all seriousness, though, I appreciate you being here.
No problem.
Okay, so now we've got the best boss in the game. We've scaled the temple to its very top, and we're ready to take back its Master Gear, but unfortunately Zext teleported here first, because he can do that, so why would you race him? We try to stop him, but he summons enemies from Chapter 5, and we recognize we're underleveled and can't quite beat those yet, so we end up letting him do his thing.
And then we fight a giant fish.
Yes. We can, however, beat this giant fish. This boss has a very peculiar pattern, so I'm going to try to exploit it when I can. The first phase involves breaking the spines on its back.
That doesn't sound painful at all.
Darn, it's giving me a bad cycle. Sometimes it can just immediately go into this attack without doing the lightning. It didn't give me that on either of its cycles, so this is going to be a bit dicey. But now we're on phase 2, and he's bitten the platform off. If I do this right... Okay, I did it right. This phase where you...
No way.
This phase where you break his teeth is supposed to be 2 cycles, but if you start charging up your Gear Buster in midair, you can complete it in 1. Okay, I want to... Please cooperate. Thank you, you cooperated. Okay, so this is actually really nice. I'm gonna stall for a bit and just spam Fleur Edges so that I can get a Mira bonus off of the boss. And that'll get me a whole ton of money.
Money!
So that was actually a really good fight, despite questionable RNG, because I got the money bonus that I really wanted. That will help with the money gate at the end of the next chapter.
Give me all the moolah.
So everything was just about to go berserk after that fight, but something from Lost Heaven managed to stop it. So now we need to go back and investigate just what that something was.
The power of plot.
That girl who had been sleeping in the cage is missing. So
Gasp.
we gotta go to the Astrolab to investigate.
Dun dun dun.
And we find our mystical waifu. Meet Kureha, or Claire as I usually call her. The official romanization from Falcom is Kureha, but the first rule of official Falcom romanizations is that you do not trust official Falcom romanizations.
They don't exist.
As those who were around for original East 1 romanizations will know exactly what I'm insinuating here. But yeah. So come back home, but oh dear.
Oh no!
While we were out adventuring with our idol girls, Eartha came down with some nasty fever.
Who's gonna make our lunch boxes now?
Lyra, actually.
I don't want Lyra's lunch boxes.
Well, beggars can't. So we need to try to find a cure for Eartha's ills. Just about the only person we know who would have knowledge of that is not the town doctor, it's the museum curator. I'm gonna turn in my stuff.
Pills. They cure all your ills.
We got a nice 680 Mira from turning in our stuff, and that's actually a lot more than I usually get. So I might be able to avoid visiting this place at the end of the chapter to turn in my stuff again to get the 8,000 Mira. It doesn't save that much time, but it sets me up really nicely for the rest of the run. So, we got told by the museum curator that the cure for Eartha's fever is some very rare species of plant, which can only be found in some ridiculously far-off area, or it can be found in Terra. So after we get a nice hug from Claire, we basically Google Terra with the Astrolab to figure out where the plant is. And in the process, unlock another season for Rieseveld and another continent.
But do we go to that other season of Rieseveld?
Yes. We do a couple of side quests. There's a side quest involving the Guardian of Rieseveld that we do, and it's the only side quest we do outside of the prologue. And we do it for a very good reason that will be made apparent immediately upon receiving its reward. First, we have to free the Guardian.
We thought it was a Guardian, but it was me, Geo!
Thanks for doing the joke I was gonna do an hour and a half from now.
You're welcome.
But yeah, back when I subtitled my splits for this game in Japanese because I was a weeb. My split for rescuing Geo was Kono Geo-da! And now for the laggiest / slowest cutscene in the entire game. As I mentioned earlier, the game actually does run at a stable 30 at base cutscene speed, but when you try to fast forward, the game does not handle it very well.
Lovely PowerPoint presentation we have going on right now.
Yeah. Exeru no Kiseki. At the very least, we get a nice music track to listen to for our troubles. And we also get another Gearcraft. Unfortunately, this one is even more situational than Gearbuster. This is Gearhold, which is a grappling hook. And that sounds nice, but you can only use it on specifically annotated Gearhold platforms. Like this one over here. So they're very limited in their use, which is kind of a shame. Gonna pick up this chest here, which contains a rock. It's a very important rock, so I'm gonna make it my pet. And then we're going to go back to Remnant Island.
Would you say your pet rocks?
Yeah, rocks rock. We're going to accept the side quest from the Guardian, and then go back to her home at the top of Rieseveld Tower. So,
which has magically been repaired after the thing bit it apart in a million pieces.
Yeah, so the Guardian Elisette is having an issue reintroducing a native species back to its environment. So she wants us to do the job for her. So we're gonna go to Rieseveld Winter, Stage 3. And we're going to plant this species' eggs under a bridge.
That sounds like a smart idea.
Yeah, because for some reason, this species actually is best cultivated during winter. So, place the eggs here, and then Nayuta proceeds to destroy linear time, because we changed the season to summer, go back into the stage, and the eggs have now hatched and are fully grown.
What is time?
Somewhere Einstein is rolling over in his grave.
Time isn't real.
Then again, I suppose Chaos was breaking linear time enough as it was. So our mission is accomplished, and we need to go back to report our results to Elisette. We've completed the quest, so we receive the art White Nova. And in a series full of broken arts, this is potentially the most broken art in the entire series. Reason why is because it slows down all enemies, including every boss in the game, and in the process, it turns all of your attacks into crits. And considering this art has a duration of a good 7 to 8 seconds, that basically means you can destroy anything that you use it on. So this is the pillar of our offensive strategy for the rest of the game. Real quick, I'm going to take a quick detour up here and pick up this item, the Yold Egg. That'll be important for a lunchbox we make later. And now, White Nova begins.
Get destroyed.
I'm gonna take a quick drink.
Stay hydrated, bot.
The first stage is not much of an issue. The second stage, however, is one of the most important in the game. And if you're going for a record, this stage will make or break your run. I want to pick up the stage objective here, and the stage objective is to kill 50 enemies with physical attacks. Ideally, what will happen is I will never get hit through this entire stage and carry a good 200-something chain, get a whole ton of money, and complete the stage objective.
Ideally, he says.
Yeah. Particularly if I can carry a Mira bonus to the boss of this area, then I can get a whole ton of extra money from it.
Pulling something off like that would be nothing less than a miracle.
Problem with not getting hit in this stage, though, is that it's actually kind of difficult, because these enemies, they can either not do anything when they aggro toward you, or they can try to start up an attack, and that attack cannot be interrupted by your attacks. So you basically have to kill them immediately, or try to anyway, because if you don't, and they decide to try to do an attack, you're probably getting hit and losing your chain. These dragons are also dangerous because they can potentially screw you up. It's going well so far, though.
Did you say that now?
I do indeed say that now. That was close.
Bets on how high of a chain he can get before losing it.
Wow, that... I don't know how I didn't get hit by that.
I'm gonna say 250.
I think the highest I've gotten is somewhere around 280. Oh. That was the worst place to get hit. I'm gonna kill this guy.
I was close. 245.
I really don't want to get hit at the very end, because that screws up my strategy for the mini-boss. I'm gonna try to refresh my chain and get it up to 60. Come on out. No, they waited too long. Alright, no money bonus, but I can at least kill them quickly with White Nova. And having 5300 Mira is already really good for this stage. So by defeating them, we have gained Ice Lance, and that's going to be our main art for the next half hour or so.
Sounds like a cool art, if you ask me.
The next stage, fortunately, is a lot less painful. It's actually really fun, both casually and in the speedrun, because it's entirely built around speed.
It's almost as if this is a speedrun.
I know, right? It's like Falcom prioritizes smooth gameplay or something. So Ice Lance is nice because it's very spammable and it actually deals quite a lot of damage. And
Sounds like a very nice art.
Man, you are just on a roll with these. Here real quick. This is where we get introduced to the next area administrator. This one is not too happy about his predicament. But we can't really do anything about him for now because he's encased in ice, so we're just gonna leave him there to ruminate on his life choices.
To be fair, I'd be pretty mad too if I were encased in ice, just like he is.
Yeah. It's got some more enemies to maneuver around. I am going to be doing more grinding in the temple stage, because the objective for that stage is to kill, I believe, 70 enemies. And by extension, since I'll be killing a lot of enemies, I'll also be getting a lot of money. So that will help me reach the money gate. And that's that stage done with. We pretty much automatically get the stage objective for this level, which is don't use a lunchbox. So that's a relatively easy stamp to earn.
Just don't be dumb.
Yep. And even then, it'll still allow you to use one, I believe. Just no more than that. Anyway, we've reached the plateau where the flowers we're looking for are, but unfortunately it's winter, and they've wilted. So, Nayuta hatches a plan to retrieve the Master Gear so that he can change the seasons back. So that hopefully, by the time he reaches it in another season, the flower will be... However, before we can reach the temple, we're accosted by Zex's dragon. I'm sorry, that's TV Tropes lingo for lackey. I should probably stop speaking in TV Tropes lingo. It didn't really help me last time.
Yeah, for a second I was confused what you were talking about, so...
Yeah. That guy's name is Selim, and he'll occasionally appear from time to time. He plays a more important role in the story later. But for now, we've got a temple to scale. Like the second Heimel stage, I'm going to try to maintain a chain for as long as I can, because doing so will increase my money gains.
Capitalism,
Yep.
again.
I left that enemy down there alive so that hopefully he'll still be there. Yep, he still is, so I can refresh my chain before heading over here.
Because your chain will naturally time out if you don't hit anything, right?
Yes. You can see how much time it has left, that little white bar on the bottom left, and wow, that wolf really wanted to go for me.
He really wanted a piece of you.
Yeah, he really did. Fortunately, losing your chain this early in the stage isn't catastrophic, because I should be able to get back up to 60 before the fight that I would really want to get a lot of money from. I left the horse alive up here, so I should be able to refresh my chain. Oh, that didn't kill him. Kill these guys.
I should be able to use famous ending words.
And fortunately, that horse stood still. The horses are very dangerous to your chain because, depending on how quickly they aggro, they can fire some really annoying attacks. The wolves are also a problem if you leave them alive for too long. Okay, that's those guys down, and now we have 2 horses to deal with. I'm really hoping I can avoid getting hit here. Okay. That was dicey, but it works.
It was dicey?
Oh, stop you. So, real quick, I'm gonna refresh my chain, and then whack these guys with White Nova, and get a whole ton of money. The one problem with White Nova is that hits you accrue while under the effects of White Nova do not count toward your chain. So your chain can and will time out if you don't refresh it before using White Nova. But that's a relatively small price to pay for the best art in the game. Because additionally, like every other art, it refreshes between halves of temple stages. So I can use it a total of 3 times in this stage. Once in Area 1 and twice in Area 2.
Twice in Area 2 because is it so long it gets recharged automatically, or...?
Yeah, it refreshes on its own, despite its very long cooldown time. Also, apologies if I'm not reading your chat messages. Sometimes chat freezes on me, so I can never tell when people are chatting and when people aren't.
That's why you have me here.
Yeah. Got some more pseudo-dragons to deal with.
You got hitched, total.
I know, I'm simply terrible. Fortunately, chains don't matter as much in this half of the stage. Because there are a lot of breaks and a lot of situations where you have to wait around for things, and those destroy your chain naturally. Nice, made the cycle.
Almost as if you're going fast.
Yeah, I know. It's strange. I'm gonna ignore these enemies because I'd like to make the cycle on this platform here. And I missed it anyway. Right. That cycle is pretty tight, though, so I'm not all that bummed out that I missed it. The nice thing about Ice Lance, though, and one of the main reasons why I pick it up, is because it's really easy to just fire and forget it. Like, if I leave an enemy with little health remaining, I can just fire off one Ice Lance, and it'll take care of it while I can continue running on ahead. So it's a nice tool for conserving speed. The only problem I have with it is that its homing is a bit janky. So, since this stage took so long, and since we killed so many enemies, White Nova has recharged, so we can use it for this upcoming Ook Rush. I'm gonna let them get closer and then blow them up.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
There's already fan patches out for Zero and Owl, though.
I believe he was referring to the Geofront translation.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this, I know this game came out after Owl, but, this is basically Chrono Burst on steroids. Yeah. I've been tempted to learn Japanese to, learn, en route Gagarv, but I'm probably gonna have to partner with somebody on that because, ooh boy, Gagarv is quite the beast. Got a few more enemies to kill here.
What about the best game ever, Dinosaur?
Oh yeah, that's also quite obnoxious to route. But I do, there is a guy who's helping us translate the game. So, we're basically routing Dinosaur entirely on the power of memes.
Really?
Yeah, basically. And thanks to having gotten the mirror bonus on the boss and having redone a stage, we have more than enough money to afford the next weapon. In fact, we would have had enough money even without redoing the stage, I think. So the boss area is available to us, but we're not going to go there yet because we're going to get a new weapon. This is the reason why we picked up the rock in Rieseveld Winter, because those rocks are used by the weapons shop to craft better weapons to sell to you. Like this one, the sledgehammer. You're not supposed to have the sledgehammer this early in the game, so it's completely busted for this boss fight.
Good for us.
Yeah. Like, in casual playthroughs, this is the slowest boss in the game, because it has a lot of really lengthy cycles that you need to gradually chip away at, but we can one-cycle all 3 of its phases with the sledgehammer.
I feel like this boss is a little bit crabby.
Yeah, he got up on the wrong side of the seabed. I can pun too, you know. So this boss is obnoxious, because for all of his phases, he can do a random amount of attacks, anywhere from 3 to 8. He gave me 5 there, which is alright. But I obviously would prefer him to give me 3. I'm also going to be spamming Ice Lances just to level them up. Okay, 4... 5... Buddy, give me a break here. Okay, 6. This is a rather slow fight. But at the very least, we're on to phase 2. I'm hoping he doesn't give me a spinny attack. He immediately gave me the spinny attack. Thanks, guy. This attack takes up a whole lot of time, but there's a safe spot in the bottom left corner, so it's easy to avoid it. Okay, good. He's at least getting me that. And with that, we're on to phase 3. This is the longest phase, and the one he can potentially screw me over the most on. It's what I've been saving up my White Nova for. The issue being that this is one of the few bosses in this game who actually has a White Nova countermeasure. If I get over his head and he's not attacking, he will try to jump to disorient me. So I actually have to wait to White Nova until I can confirm that he's not jumping. Because while he jumps, his hitbox is intangible, and thus White Nova backfires on me.
I already made the crabby joke, Noel. Be a little late on that.
But with that, the crab is down, and we've unlocked the autumn season for Heimel, so we're hoping that will allow us to pick a flower.
Picking flowers?
I know, they're such pansies.
Good, you're learning.
Unfortunately, the flowers have already wilted. However, we have a countermeasure. Mystical Magical Waifu Power!
Looks like everything is coming up roses now.
Oh! God, that one hurt me.
The more it hurts, the better it is.
Zunar is a closet dom, confirmed. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever. So fortunately, we've managed to cure Eartha, and now we need to talk to her real quick about why she just nearly died and whether or not that's correlated with Nayuta's idol girl adventures in Terra. Fortunately, she's pretty understanding, though all she wants to do is just meet the magical girl who saved her. So we gotta go fetch her from Terra.
And add yet another girl to Nayuta's harem.
Oh hey, it's Gio. Eaten any bread lately? Fortunately, Claire's just hanging around at the Astrolab, so we can pick her up and take her back to our house for a nice old luncheon.
I wonder what Lyra's gonna say when we bring home another girl.
Oh, she's not gonna take it well.
Whatever will she do? She's losing her precious Nayutan.
I know. The childhood friend trope is collapsing before her very eyes. The fabric of JRPGs is being ruined. Get more exposition with Zext and Selim, and then it's on to the chapter 4. We've got one more Master Gear to collect, and I just noticed Noi's hair is clipping through the fence. So, you know the drill by now. Lather, rinse, and repeat. We gotta save the administrator, and then it's off to the next continent. This game has a total of 9 chapters, if you count the prologue and the after story. Ah, yes, that's, one of the misconceptions of the people of this world is that the world is actually flat. Like, they haven't discovered that the world is round yet.
Sounds like they need to come around.
Or at the very least, the predominant theory among scientists in this world is that there is an edge to the world, whereas Nayuta believes that the world is round and that you can explore all of it. And as we'll find out, they're actually both right. And I know that that makes absolutely no sense, but it will be explained in time. Anyway, we've saved the 3rd administrator, and he's going to give us the Gear Shield power-up, which is a problem, because most of the stage objectives I pick up actually prioritize not using it. Gear Shield shields you from 1 hit of damage, kind of like flash guarding in East games, except with no timing involved. And it's a necessary power-up because it also lets you walk on water and lava, which is nice given we're going into the lava world. Welcome to Lawarg.
With some more banger music.
Oh, absolutely. This game's soundtrack is incredible. Most of it was done by Saki Momiyama, who, for clarification on how good her pedigree is, she composed both of the standard battle themes in Crossbell, Get Over the Barrier and Seize the Truth. So she knows how to compose a good soundtrack, and she really knocked it out of the park here. I'm just sporadically hitting some enemies here to work up a chain for the mini-boss / Mook Rush here.
There's a lot of Mook Rushes in this game, I've noticed.
Yeah, usually each stage has at least one. This game is really cool, Manosphere. I would recommend that if you have the free time, you should definitely try this game out, because in my opinion it's a hidden gem, and really acts as Falcom's swan song to the PSP. Because it takes pretty much everything they learned from E7 in terms of 3D level design and really amplifies it.
As you will see later on in the story.
Yes. So, that stage was pretty inconsequential. The objective was just to not let the craft gauge expire. The problem being that if you get hit using Gear Shield, you take a huge hit to your craft gauge, so you have to use it sparingly. This is perhaps the most difficult stage in the game, because I really have to concentrate. I have a lot of things I need to do, and I have to do it all with a 90-second timer.
Sounds like things are really heating up.
Stop. Just stop.
Sounds like you're getting a little hot under the collar.
Why did I let you in here? So, got a jump that I need to negotiate here. Wheel back around, and okay, that's a lot more difficult of a jump than it looks, because your depth perception really leaves a lot to be desired. We're still not out of the woods yet, though. I need to get all 3 of the crystals in here and the chest in order to get the treasure stamp for this stage, and that includes going all the way over here to get a piece of armor for Noi, the dancer suit. I'm not sure how exactly this counts as defensive, but whatever, I'll take Noi's word for it. These jumps are also actually really tricky because sometimes when you land on a platform, the game will not register you landing correctly, so your jump will become a double jump, and your jump will just get gimped. Fortunately, that stage went about as well as it could have.
There is an English patch out for this game, but it's a little bit on the rocky side.
Yeah, it's very rough. You can understand what's going on, but only by inference. Fortunately, Zane, VODs will start to be uploaded on Monday. At least I'm hoping that they begin on Monday, so you should be able to catch what you missed sometime before the middle of the week. Throughout this chapter, you get a bunch of intermission cutscenes with Claire, basically introducing her to Remnant Island, because, you know, she's been trapped in a bench for 1,000 or so years.
Because that makes sense.
You're supposed to use Gear Shield there, but I can just ignore it by using a technique called fire hopping, affectionately named after Mario Kart 8. If you jump within a few frames of landing on water or lava, you can jump back out without experiencing its effects. Yes, for a few months after live broadcast, you can catch the chat on the VOD. However, eventually that will expire. And it'll make everything I'm saying sound really strange, because I'll be saying it to a bunch of imaginary people. Ah, yes, the Masquerade of Lies callback. That's actually an interesting quirk about this game's soundtrack. They reuse some previously unused tracks by Ryota Keshita, because he had left Falcom a few years prior to this game being released, but he also had a few unused tracks lying around, so they reused some of them for Crossbell and Nayuta. And I believe Tokyo Xanadu as well, but I'm not quite sure. And now for the best cutscene in the game.
This the baby, isn't it?
This baby that Lyra is carrying is not synced to Turbo correctly. So it tries to leave this mortal coil. That always makes me chuckle. We've reached Lavord Temple, but Selim is here to warn us that our magical girl waifu is in danger. So,
But she was just fine a few seconds ago.
We take the shady antagonist's word for it and end up going back to Remnant Island to investigate. I'm gonna do a quick detour here and make a lunchbox or two, because lunchboxes, like the Zwei games, actually give you experience. So I'm gonna use this to catch up on my levels.
You have to use a lunchbox to catch up on your levels?
Oh. Most of the East games are in English. You can get every mainline East game except, I believe, 5 on Steam in English now. And yes, the PSP is a handheld, but this game is also available on the PS Vita and the PS TV, which itself is basically a consoleized Vita. So we gotta go back to check up on Claire, and just as we do that, it starts snowing. In the otherwise tropical Remnant Island, this is a problem. So we suspect something is all funky at the temple, and we go back to level proper now. Well, when I say it's on PS Vita, it's just the same game, but it's available on PlayStation Network, so you can download it for both PSP and Vita, since the Vita has built-in PSP emulation. Yeah, the Vita adds a bilinear filter to all PSP emulated games, which is kind of a double-edged sword because it's nice for smoothing out 3D graphics, but it's very questionable looking on 2D graphics and text. So I wish there were some method to turn it off, but unfortunately there no longer is. We're going to be doing a bit more grinding here because the objective for this stage is killing 40 enemies.
And do you kill exactly 40 of them, or do you do 40?
Actually, now that I think about it, it might be 35, but whatever. But yeah, I kill like 3 or 4 more than the goal. Because this stage doesn't have that many enemies to begin with. Well, the thing about the bilinear filter is that that's an option within the PS Vita / PS TV's BIOS itself. So that's on Sony's end, not Falcom's. But, semantics. We've entered the second half, and our White Nova has recharged, so we're going to blow these guys up.
Leveling up arts gives you more damage and makes them recover faster, and you have more charges, but I don't believe it affects directly how much each one costs.
Correct.
I mean, technically it costs, like, less overall since you have more charges, but...
Yeah. So, this stage is a massive set of towers with 2 levers that we've got to push. Got one, now we just got to get to the other. Gonna hit that crystal for some extra money. We've got another Mook Rush.
Another one?
I know, it's just such blasphemy. Taking a bit more damage than I would have liked here, but we're just about done with all of the enemies in this level, so I should be okay.
Another one bites the dust. Yeah, that's the best I got.
And with that, we've leveled up to level 17. That's the level I want to be for this incoming boss fight, so that's nice. I'm also going to switch my art over back to Plum Shot.
You are still majorly under-leveled.
Yes. Like, I think I'm supposed to be level 23 by this point. But obviously, that's not going to happen. And with that, I have acquired exactly 36 stamps.
And you no longer need any more stamps, correct?
Correct. One thing stamps do passively do that I appreciate is, getting more stamps gives you more bonus money at the end of each level. So I actually do still pay attention to what stamps I can get after this, just for getting more money toward the final money gate.
I thought the final money gate was 8,000 Mira.
No, I have to get a weapon in the final chapter that costs 35,000 Mira.
Oh, right, I forgot about that one.
And that is my final money gate.
Okay.
So now that I have 36 stamps, I can go to learn more techniques from Orvis. And yeah, those crystals, I'm assuming how it works is that you can trade those for Mira. They're not actually Mira. Because CS1 has coins and stuff representing Mira. But yeah, it would also explain why those crystals can be exchanged for more and more Mira the more... the further into the game you get. Like, one crystal in the final stage is worth 10 Mira, for example. So anyway, we learned some techniques from Orvis there, the most important of which being the Meteor Strike, the upgraded downward attack. This is incredibly important because it increases its power and range, making it pretty much the only method I can use to damage this boss. Without it, I'd be dealing like no damage. I'm gonna fire off my White Nova real quick because this boss is long enough that I can actually use it twice. To immediately take care of Phase 1, and then we're on to Phase 2. This is why I have Plum Shot. You have to take care of these 4 totems that act as this boss's legs. But the thing is, in order to activate the upgraded downward air, I have to have a strength chain active. So that's why I use Plum Shot to rapidly gain chain. Because with that active, I can get the upgraded Meteor Strike as soon as possible and start dealing damage earlier. This phase lasts 2 cycles. All I have to do is just take down the totems again. And I'm gonna wait for this leg to raise so that I can freely attack this one. Oh, that was close. Wait for that leg to rise so that I can attack this one now. Okay, this has been a really good fight so far. So now we're at the final phase, and what I'm hoping to do is... Okay, don't do that attack. Don't do that attack, for the love of God. Okay, I can refresh my chain. That was not what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to hit him, but he guarded. Shoot. That was still a good fight, but I didn't get the Mira bonus I wanted. I should be fine, though, because I've had a surplus of Mira this entire run. Cigna's back to save the day in the standard aloof Big Brother fashion, but unfortunately, we were too late to stop Zext and his plan to do something.
Ah, yes, the mighty plan to do something.
Yes.
His evil plan.
world's going all kooky, and we need to find some sort of way to stop it. Tried inserting the Master Gears into the Astro Lab to try to calm things down, but unfortunately that also is not working. And it seems the portal back to Remnant Island is also going haywire, so we cannot escape.
Oh no.
Until suddenly it does work and Sigma pushes us through for some reason.
Because he's worried about us.
So how much Mira do I have? 10... that's alright at this stage. Considering I haven't visited the museum since Chapter 3, I'm probably at around 12,000 to 12,500 effective Mira. So that's a pretty decent... Somehow Zext broke into the real world, or rather Remnant Island, and...
She has a wing.
So Zext is trying to do something to Claire, but fortunately we've managed to stop her, and Orvis is doing a brave one-man last stand so that we can buy enough time to escape. The entire town is being surrounded. So, pretty much our only option is to try to scale the relic tower.
Because that seems like a smart thing to do.
Funnily enough, all the enemies in here are still from when you visited this place during the prologue, so they can't damage you, and they give you absolutely nothing in terms of items, so I just try to ignore them when I can.
And suddenly she remembers something.
Another technique we got was the air dash, which isn't all that useful. It's actually kind of unfortunate when I accidentally use it because it cancels your momentum once you land. It's basically the opposite of a wave dash, but it's still nice for some late game tech that we'll be getting into later. I also got the guard, which is something the game expected me to have 3 chapters ago. And I got the upgraded combo for one-handed swords, which will be nice for Chapter 6. Turns out Claire remembered something that suddenly made her an antagonist again, so she's betrayed us. And has run off with Selim back to Terra.
How could this happen to us? I bet Lyra's happy about it, though.
Yeah, probably. Fortunately,
Go ahead.
the portal to Terra is back in working order, though, so we can join back up with Noi, who's revealed that we need to scale that giant tower, Heliograd.
But unfortunately, Nayuta does not know how to climb a ladder.
Indeed, he does not. So we have to go to Heliograd 1, learn that we cannot climb the ladder, and then immediately exit. The game will not let you go to any other stages until you do this.
And just wait until you see how Nayuta climbs ladders.
Oh boy. It is fun. We've got one more administrator to save, and they think they can help us out with this. So we're gonna go pay him a visit. And I'm gonna kill a couple of enemies in the meantime. These jellyfish enemies are very annoying because they can confuse you, which reverses all of your controls and is generally obnoxious to you. I'm
not surprised you haven't heard this game before, Rook. It's kind of an obscure game.
Yeah, this is not the most well-known of Falcom's IPs.
Very good game, though.
Yes, I agree. Fortunately, since we carried a strength chain, we can one-shot those guys with the power of White Nova. Because, good god, that art is broken, and I love it. And the final administrator is freed.
There is an English translation for this game, but as mentioned before, the English patch is kind of rocky.
Yeah. We've acquired our final Gearcraft, Gear Drive, which is basically a continuous dash. It's very nice and it's very fast. The only problem with it is that we had to wait an hour and a half to get it. So we're going to visit this stage next. This stage has an item in it that's technically optional, but I'm going to get it anyway, both for safety and because it's actually a really nice item.
Gear Drive.
It's going to go over here. Got some enemies to fight here. These actually are jerk birds, because if they hit me, they mess up my chain, and that's obnoxious because I want to keep my chain up for the incoming mini-boss fight. Hello? Activate the thing, please. Oh dear. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get a chain back up with Ice Lance. And then I'm going to White Nova, now that they're all grouped together.
Just don't lose your chain, Forehead.
I mean, I'm trying, man. So with that, we get the Flower Shield. And that's going to be our main art for the rest of the game.
Time to climb that ladder.
Indeed. And we climb it by rolling, 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 rolling.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. So that's how you climb ladders. I've been climbing them wrong my entire life.
Indeed it is, you uncultured swine. I've been rolling up ladders since I was 5 years old. So, Flower Shield is very nice, because though it doesn't have that many charges, it destroys any enemies it comes into contact with. And it also shields you from quite a few attacks. So it's a nice tool for getting kills that you would otherwise have to slow down for. So overall, even though it takes a good 90 seconds to get, it makes up the time loss with really nice utility and extra money and kills.
This music, though.
Yeah, this music is great.
I think all the music in this game is great.
Absolutely. This game's soundtrack, as I've said, is phenomenal. Another nice thing about Flower Shield, you can break the game's rules with it. You're not supposed to be able to use two arts at the same time. However, if you activate Flower Shield before entering a Mook Rush spawner, you can actually use Screen Nuke spells like White Nova alongside it. And since Flower Shield has such a long passive effect, you can carry both it and White Nova into the Mook Rush with you. So it's very useful for speeding up Mook Rushes.
Good thing you can't fall off here.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Nice RPGs to recommend every game that's been played in this marathon.
Pretty much.
I know I sound like I'm a shill for the Trail series, but that's because I am a shill for the Trail series. They are very meaty games with intertwined stories, tons of world building, great characters, and absolutely excellent soundtracks. I'm gonna take a quick drink of water because my voice is starting to climb in pitch again. Yeah. What are you talking about? I'm not getting paid at all. I'm not even an affiliate yet.
What's that? You're not an affiliate? It flex my emote on you.
Sorry, I'm too poor for emotes. Gonna hold off on gear drive because there's a big ladder I need to climb here. That should work. We've got a whole bunch of switches to hit to raise the entire level, so there's a specific series we need to hit here. I'm also gonna kill those guys because killing enemies and acquiring Mira actually does refill your craft gauge, so that's one of the reasons why Pedal at Flower Shield is really nice. It helps you keep going
in the final area.
Yeah, we've still got a good half of the game to go. And in my opinion, the final level is even more impressive than this. So get this chest here, and this is the Executioner, the second best one-handed sword in the game. Equip that. And that'll be our main weapon until the final chapter.
So,
Yeah, I admit, Noi does live up to her namesake. She is rather annoying now.
Nayuta, 大丈夫なの?
With that, though, we're through. Unlike the first 4 chapters, Heliograd only has 2 stages, so we can immediately proceed to the boss fight. We've got a rather long cutscene ahead of us, and this is the cutscene that basically confirms that Nayuta's plot is structured so that whenever there's a yes or no question, Nayuta answers both. Turns out, Selim and Signa are in fact the same person. Even though we saw them as 2 different people, they were originally one person split into 2, and after their battle in Chapter 1, they reunited to form the complete Selim.
Question marks.
Yes, question marks everywhere.
Nani?
So, Selim turns out to be yet another servant of Zext. Warns us to get out of here before we get hurt, because he still has his whole aloof big brother instinct. We refuse, because we're the protagonist. So, we are going to pay Zext a visit directly.
Because that is a smart idea.
Oh, absolutely. In the meantime, we get the silliest boss in the game.
Visit Zext while we are incredibly underleveled.
The elevator we rode up here on, the elevator is the boss. And to fight it, we get infinite craft gauge for the only time in the run. Oh, I almost 2-cycled it. But it's giving me a really nice pattern. That was probably the fastest fight I've ever had. You've scaled Heliograd and reached Zext. But unfortunately, we have to deal with Selim and Claire. We have this whole big ol' spiel about ancient deities and races and stuff. Selim and Claire activate each of their 1 wings of the 2-winged angel. How much time is left in the game? We've got about...
a little over an hour.
About an hour, 10 minutes.
The estimate was taking movies into account, right? And we're not watching those?
Yeah, we're no longer watching movies aside from the credits if people want them, because this marathon is getting a bit behind.
Cutting out movies would save like about, what, 10 minutes-ish?
About 7 to 8, yeah.
7 to 8, okay.
So as it turns out, Zext, Selim, and Claire are all part of an ancient race of humanoids who lived on Terra, known as the Mythos. And Zext's ultimate goal is revenge against humanity for some previous transgression, and in the process, he's going to try to raise the entire world.
And he almost kills Nayuta.
Indeed. So as it turns out, he's actually managed to succeed somewhat. The world is kind of screwed right now.
The world blows up and then everybody's dead.
Hey, you can't help it, it's just like I said.
Just one of those days.
Yeah, I wasn't quite... I wasn't 100% sure what his motivations were, because, you know, the fan translation's kind of eh. Something to do with throwing away the current world. And as we'll learn later in the game, some of the Mythos want some admittedly kind of justified revenge for what happened. So this is one of the staple Falcom segments where you gotta talk to everybody to advance the plot. We've got to talk to 3 specific people here. The gate guard, the mayor, and the museum curator.
While we have some downtime here, you mentioned something before about a chicken tender story. I'm very interested to hear this.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. So, I beat myself up a lot, on stream, but admittedly, I've probably never derped as hard as I did, during the, limit break this year. So, Ghost Kumo, Delphi, Tuxdev, and I had just wrapped up the Falcon block on the Tuesday of limit break, because we had run East Memories of Celceta and Zwei the Argus Adventure back-to-back. So, you know, after 3.5 hours, we're pretty darn hungry, so we want to get something to eat. And, we decided to hit up the hotel bar. What I didn't realize at the time was that you had to be 21 just to enter the bar. Like, you couldn't even order food or non-alcoholic drinks if you were under 21. And I was, at that point, 20 and 10 months. So,
Oof.
I was not of drinking age, but I entered anyway because, man, I just want to get some food. It's 11 o'clock and I'm hungry. So, the bartender comes over. And he's all right, what can I get you to drink? And I'm just thinking, crap, he's gonna card me. So I try to think up of something innocuous to say so that, you know, maybe he won't card me. My 200 IQ brain decides to say, yo, you got any water? So that's how I got kicked out of the bar.
Wow.
I just slink back up to my room because I'm forced to acknowledge that I'm an idiot.
At least you acknowledge it.
I mean, yeah, but then, like, 10 minutes later, Based Delphi messages me on Discord and says, yo, Schtolteheim, get your ass back down here. We bought you some chicken tenders.
Wow.
So basically, that's how the Falcom RTA community bailed me out for the umpteenth time.
Completely glossing over the plot of this game.
Yeah, I really owe Kumo, Delphi, and Tuxdev a lot for that. Okay, so I am going to make an egg burger sandwich thing. Because that turns out to be very important for one of the boss fights in this chapter. Somehow, for some reason, even though the portal to Terra got smashed, Orvis turns out to have one in his basement. So we can use that to break back into Terra.
And we don't question why he has that in his basement?
He probably explains it in that massive text wall, but I'm an uncultured swine and I don't understand Japanese.
We just roll with it.
So we're back in Lost Heaven, but something is very, very wrong. Turns out Lost Heaven has an underside to it called Lexandria. Basically pulls a Final Fantasy IV on us by saying that for all of the Master Gears we've been collecting, there are also Stella Gears. So we need to collect...
Yes, we have to go collect those.
Yes, indeed, we do. Every district in Lexandria makes use of a specific gear power-up. This one in particular uses Gear Drive extensively. Pardon me. Fortunately for me, the game kind of underestimates how fast you can go by refiring your gear drive. You're not supposed to go as fast as I'm going, so...
You're going too fast. Slow down.
almost made that.
No.
More mini-bosses to beat up with White Nova. Ah, yeah, that would explain it. Shirokuro. I'm not exactly an aficionado when it comes to rapid-fire plot summaries. I'm no Wolf. But that stage... That stage went pretty well, though. You were saying?
This game has plot?
Yeah, it took me by surprise, too.
This isn't CS1.
So this is a bit of a deviation that I take from the other guy who runs this game. Ravi completes all 4 stages first and then completes the bosses. I do 1 stage and 1 boss. It's not really any faster or slower, it just boils down to personal preference.
The chat wants you to make them food, Schtolteheim.
I'll make food in the true ending.
They demand lunchboxes.
I'll let my craft gauge recharge here real quick. And then on to the first boss fight. You thought it would be some eldritch deity, but instead it's me, Geo! And we've got to fight him. Because the administrators have sided with Zext.
Because why not?
Ooh, that's actually nice. I would like him to do that attack, and I'm thankful that he did. So now we've entered his second phase, where we need to gear drive up these walls and knock him out of the air. If you need any more evidence on why White Nova is broken, I just skipped 2/3 of this boss fight. And thanks to White Nova and the Executioner, just about all of the boss fights are gonna go that fast.
Totally not broken.
In a bit of a break from suggested order, we're going to do the 4th and what is intended to be the final district second, so that after we defeat this boss, we can level up to level 25, because that is the level I need to be to abuse a strategy for the 3rd boss of the chapter. This area also makes extensive use of fire hopping.
I'm guessing it's intending for you to use the little shield thing.
Yeah, it's intending for you to use Gear Shield, but ain't nobody got time for that. I actually need to keep track of my health here, because I took more damage than I thought I would. Oh, got a nice health pickup, though.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, you. Kill those enemies to get some craft gauge back.
Every strat that involves hopping is approved by you, Hoppy. You are Hoppy, after all.
I also have to keep track of my craft gauge here, because the stamp objective for this stage is... something's gone wrong here. Okay, never mind, I'm good.
Monka S there for a second.
Never mind, we're good. Just, I think I pedal shielded twice instead of only once. So I screwed up the White Nova. But we're fine.
We are daijoubu.
Yes. And this is the end of the stage anyway. So aside from that, that was actually a pretty good stage. And I'm gradually earning more money toward the 35,000 Mira gate. This boss can potentially be very nasty if she doesn't cooperate, but I have a general strategy for how this will pan out. We point.
Strategy is don't die.
Oh wow, that's bad.
I said don't die.
Okay, I think we've salvaged it somewhat. Or at least we would have salvaged it if I knew how to guard. Okay, so now for the second phase, I need to gear shield over to the weak spot, and then I need the White Nova. Alright. Garbage first phase, good second phase. Now it's on to District 3. And now that we're level 25, we can exploit the strategy that I made the egg sandwich for. Whoa, I did not think I would hit that. Nice. Got a nice level up on Flower Shield there. The game really wants you to use gear hold here, and in some situations it's mandatory, but we can mitigate quite a bit of it just by doing long jumps with gear drive. Do as I say, not as I do. I do have to mind my craft gauge, because using both gear drive and gear hold is quite taxing on it. And we're through. Not that bad of a stage, aside from that one goof. Time for the third boss now. One thing I really like about this game's soundtrack, and it especially shines in Chapter 6, is just how complex each composition is. I remember when I was labbing this game, I idled on the Alexandria overworld, and I thought, oh, this is just an ambient theme, it doesn't really have any substance to it. But no. After a minute, it goes into the main leitmotif for the administrators. And that blew me away the first time I heard it.
Because this game's soundtrack is just so amazing.
This game just has so much attention to detail. It's astonishing. Okay, so that's the first phase over with. And the second phase is what I need to use the egg sandwich for. Oh, darn. Thought I could carry the chain. So, get up here. I need to use the egg sandwich, which gives me a strength bonus. Knock it down, White Nova, and then wail on it. Okay, I got it. So, I dealt so much damage to it that its HP check did not account for the damage in time. So I skipped a phase of the fight. And with that, the boss is down.
Yay!
What the boss is supposed to do is it's supposed to enter another phase at 1,914 HP. But when it checks its HP, if its HP is at 1914 exactly, then it'll enter the third phase. And the HP check is late enough that I can deal a whole ton of damage to it with White Nova before it does the check.
Nova is broken.
I'm going to equip a two-handed sword for this one, because two-handed swords can actually reach these switches from here. If I had a one-handed sword equipped, I'd have to use Gear Buster. Now I can go back to the Executioner. Pretty manageable Mook Rush. Gotta go over here and hit a switch. And this is always a pretty dicey section of the level, because there are these platforms that keep shuffling around. You're supposed to wait until two platforms line up and then make the jump over to these areas, but you can actually make the jump with only one platform if you do a mid-air dash. The problem is that those are difficult to execute. Unfortunately, I missed that cycle, so I gotta wait for the next platform to come around, because I cannot make the jump with only 0 platforms. I have to have at least one. Fortunately, this cycle is pretty nice. Just gotta head over here, and we're through. I also gotta conserve my craft gauge because the game heavily abuses Gear Buster here. So I need to moderate my gear drive usage so that I have enough craft gauge to use Gear Buster where I need to. That should be it, though. Because I can skip this last one, and then we're through.
Rock skip.
Skipping rocks is nice, especially in the in the final chapter. On to the final boss of the area. The reason I fight this boss last is because it has the most HP and the highest defenses. So any additional levels I get help exponentially for this fight.
That might be one reason why Ravi does all the aim stages first and then the bosses to get a little bit more experience, make the bosses a bit faster.
Although the stages, I find that the stages don't really give you enough experience to make much of a difference, at least not in my route. It might be different for Ravi's. So this boss is protected by ice on all of its limbs, and the ice is only damageable with Gear Buster, which is why strength is so important in this fight. It's also why I'm not going to be using Gear Drive at all, because I need to conserve my craft gauge. Fortunately, the core is vulnerable to normal attacks, so once I expose the core, I just have to flail on it with Meteor Drive. And then I gotta do the same thing again. This phase of the fight is actually kind of easier, because the ice physics let you run away from the boss faster when it's charging you. I get White Nova ready, and should be dead soon. Kaboom!
And the boss is down.
It's also really nice that I got the Mira bonus off of it. So that's all of the stages and bosses in Chapter 6 down. Now that we've converted all of the administrators back to our side with the power of friendship and incredible violence, we have acquired their Stella Gears and we're ready to face Zext. The Stella Gears now reconnected to the Astrolab, we can access the final area of the game, the Stellarium, which serves as the setting for the game's final chapter. However, we are apprehended by Claire, who attempts to convince us to stop, because she's actually concerned for us and knows that fighting Zext at our level is probably a death wish. So she reveals to us what happened all of those years ago. The Mythos called Lost Heaven their home. But after some catastrophic war with humanity, Lost Heaven and Terra, as well as the planet, were irrevocably damaged. Turns out there's a giant hole in the planet.
The world blows up.
The world is round, but it does indeed have an edge. So,
like you said, when Nayuta has a question, it answers yes and no.
When Nayuta's plot is presented with a yes or no question, it answers both. That's just how this game's plot works. Fortunately, with the power of friendship and rousing anime speeches, we've converted Claire back to our side, but not before she gets kidnapped by Zext with the good old grab him on the elbow technique.
Tried and true.
So we've got to go chase after her in the Stellarium now. And enter the final chapter.
Grab the elbow no jutsu.
Never fails. Are you ready for some serious sour pleases? Cause let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this stage has the best level theme in the game, and one of the best in the entire series.
The place where the planet is.
Turn it up? Oh, hell yeah. This stage has a whole lot of really fun jumps that you can exploit. So I'm gonna try to get them down as smoothly as I can. Yes! Got that first try. That's a really difficult jump and it saves about a minute.
Nice. Good job. You
just had to interrupt the music with that, didn't you?
Yes.
But yeah, when you execute these jumps well, it's really impressive and really fun. The problem is, I can't execute these jumps well.
Fight on no. Bakenai.
Also, to any aspiring glitch hunters, good lord.
Glitch hump. Wow.
Ah! If you can find any way to bypass that, those platforms you have to raise, that would actually be really appreciated, because you can save a good 2 or so minutes. It's almost possible, but I haven't found any significant way. Because I swear, you can almost manage it, but not quite. Did we recapture the bond count? By my count, I believe it was somewhere around 150. I've kept track of it on the speedrun Discord. 160, yeah. Alright, that sounds about right. This area has a really strange glitch that Ravi found, and it requires a two-handed sword, so I'm going to explain it as I go.
Going to make no sense.
Yes, this makes no sense until I explain it. So I'm going to simultaneously hit this switch and this one. And then I'm going to go over here and stay there. Platform's going to fall out from under me. And now I'm at the end of the area. I have no idea how Ravi found that, but what I can only assume happens is when you hit a switch to move the platform after it's already moving, the platform doesn't know where it is and despawns. So you fall, but the game doesn't know where to place you when you fall because it doesn't expect you to be there. So the game just places you at the standard respawn point, which happens to be the end of the level. Well, the end of that area. That's my best guess. Oops.
It works, and that's what matters. Nice. He fell.
Doesn't cost me that much time, though.
But it's slow.
Yeah, it's slow, but I can't really complain at this point. This run is actually on a really good pace, despite having to redo a level. I'm kind of astonished.
You say that now. But then you'll die to annoy.
Oh, God.
Spoilers.
Huh. But yeah, fun fact about this area, as far as I'm aware, this is the only area in the game that changes its level design depending on the difficulty. Hey, wait, no. Neko was just, linking to the music for this place. He's good.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, I say it's cool. Yeah, go ahead.
This is the gear hold section. It's got some rather precarious jumps, but overall it's not that bad. I say as I fall.
Fight on and all.
Oh, nice health pickup. But yeah, the Otakeshita really likes reusing some of his melodies and leitmotifs, which is fine by me because I love the Otakeshita soundtracks. So yeah. With that, we have cleared the Stellarium Cradle. I'm gonna turn the volume back down a little bit because the next boss is really loud. You want to know what the sad part about this is? I think this run would be on PB pace if I didn't have to redo that stage back in Chapter 2. You live and you learn. So, just gonna top off on money here. 4,100. And I now have more than enough money to get the final weapon for the run. That rock we picked up in Chapter 6 is used for the weapon shop to make the the top-tier weapons for the main story, so we get the Lost Dragon. Best two-handed sword in the game. Outside of New Game Plus, at least.
Just skip the boss, forehead.
If I could find a way to do that, or if somebody else finds a way to do that, I would be incredibly thankful. Because this boss is a pain.
Oh boy, here comes Selim.
Yes, we are about to fight Selim. And Selim is the most temperamental boss in the game. He can either be incredibly docile and give me a relatively easy fight, or he can be out for my blood and completely straight up murder me. For reference,
this is a marathon, so you know he's gonna be murdered.
Yeah, for reference on how wildly this fight can vary, in my practice run last week, I survived this fight on 3 health. When I played this for the Falcom RTA marathon, I didn't take a single hit. So I have no idea how this fight is going to go. You're gonna dash? He wants to zone me out. It's better to just wait out his attacks as opposed to trying to counter him, because he can counter you just like that. So it's best to just be patient here. And also, don't let him corner you, for the love of God. Because he can do that.
The new Super Smash Bros. Looks great.
That dash attack has almost no telegraphing. Oh, I was about to do that damage list, but he guarded me. Whatever, that was still a really good fight.
Very surprised he decided to be nice to you.
Yeah, he was really nice. He didn't even try to ult. Because he has an ultimate attack that he can use, and if he catches me in it, I'm dead. I'm just straight up dead.
Because you are so underleveled and you have no arm.
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be like level 31 or 32 from this fight. Instead, I'm level 27.
No hit percent ruined. Reset.
Darn. Sorry, Sent. Cold Steel's delayed by another 3 hours. Oh, darn. Selim got stoned. You hate to see it happen. You're fine with it. You're fine with it. I don't know if Shinoa is. Shinoa's got a graveyard shift. Guys, I'm gonna make lunchboxes in the after story. Just be patient. But with that, we're out of here. And we're on to the final stage of the game. We get to hear more of the place where the planet is, so I'm gonna turn the volume back up. Let's do this. If this works... Yes! First try. That saves a good 30 seconds, if I can do it first try. I had a lot of trouble with that in the practice run, actually.
The chat is hungry, Schtolteheim.
I know, I know. I'll get them some food in a few minutes. Don't make me turn this speedrun around!
turn around and go through the stages backwards.
As far as I'm aware, this stage is the one area where the game breaks stable 30. But in fairness, it only happens if you use the double art glitch, and it only happens if you use White Nova during that Mook Rush. So, I don't really fault the game for that. Hit the loading zone early there, and we're on to the second half. And immediately I derp.
Immediately.
There's a really difficult jump that I'm gonna try to do. Oh my god, I got it! That, I have no idea how much... I have no idea how much time that saves, but I've never been able to do that in an actual run. Yes, this is on a PSTV.
But you're using a Sega Saturn controller.
Yes, I'm using a Sega Saturn controller to run this game. It is jank personified. I mean, it is officially a Kiseki game. If in name only. Why not a Sega Dreamcast? Because I love the Dreamcast, but I don't like its controller. Its analog stick is really bad. Yeah, it's better than the N64 at least. But yeah, I am an outspoken advocate for the Sega Saturn controller.
I've never seen a Sega Saturn controller. Let me look that up real quick.
I use the 3D pad specifically.
Oh, those things. Okay, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why don't people make more 6-face button controllers? It's so convenient for platformers.
Yeah.
With that, the final stage is done. So with that, we have reached the core of the Stellarium. And now it's time to face Sext.
This looks gorgeous on the PSP.
Yeah. Falcom are constantly bashed for their graphics, but this game looks beautiful.
It really does.
And if you play it casually, you can appreciate it much better because all of the cutscenes are running at normal speed.
Yeah. Instead of PowerPoint every few seconds.
Yeah. So I think I've got max level Flower Shield. I should have max level White Nova. After this filler segment, I'm pretty much good to go. Pardon the squeaky chair. But yeah, it's just something I don't really understand. I know that Cold Steel 1's animations were a little rough around the edges, particularly that one fight, but people rap on Falcom all the time for supposed low production values, but then you got games like this.
they spent more budget on Cold Steel 1's actual graphic design rather than their animation.
And who knows? Unfortunately, we are yet again too late to stop Phase 1 of Zext's plan. He plans to... loading. He plans to blow up the world, basically. And to do that, he's going to point the giant cannon thing he's got at the exposed core of the Earth, and he's hoping that'll blow everything up.
He's basically Mega Man, yes.
Oh wow, I'm actually out of craft gauge. That's interesting. Wow. This is a really good fight. Very, very good fight.
He has been exterminated.
Okay, that's Terra. Yeah, I couldn't remember whether or not that was Terra or if it was something else, because I remember the moon turned out to be something. I just couldn't remember if that was Terra. And it turns out this also isn't the real Zext. It's a carbon copy created from data backups of the original, because the original turns out to be the idol of the Stellarium. So this fake Zext has a massive bout of nihilism, and it's so strong, in fact, that he decides to transform into this.
Falcom Eldritch Horror.
The real Zext is the idol of the Stellarium. This fake Zext isn't really anything, aside from the final boss of the final chapter. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nihilistic Icon. Oh, so the fake one is the idol. Alright, sorry. I don't remember much of this game's plot because, you know, it's kind of fragmented. Okay, I actually really need to keep track of my health. But I should be good through here. Okay, that was actually really kind of him. I want him to attack me with one of his hands twice, so that I can immediately get up here.
Now we get up in its face, up close and personal. Don't die.
Understood. Just gonna need to be a little more careful than I usually am. I'm going to need to be a lot more careful than I usually am.
A little more careful, he says, as he gets hit.
Whoa. Okay. I should be able to gear shield the rest of this. Okay, that's what I need. Okay, never mind. I got sniped by a projectile from nowhere.
I said don't die.
I mean, I tried, but how on earth was I supposed to see that coming?
Never saw it coming.
Hey. That's happened to me once or twice before. I was hoping it wouldn't happen here, but stuff happens.
Much for this being a good run.
Yeah. This'll actually still be a pretty good run, all things considered, if I can finish it on this attempt. Just let me carry the chain, please. That's actually really kind. Alright, let's go. Wow! He cooperated on the arms both times. Thank you.
Sounds like he gave you a hand.
Okay, this fight went a whole lot better than the previous one. Like, this didn't really cost me much time at all.
Wow.
And I even carried the oh wait, no I didn't. Oops. Spoke a bit too soon, but I should be fine. Alright, one last hurrah for White Nova.
Hoorah!
So we've
That would be the
defeated...
end of the any percent category.
Yep, this would be where an any percent run would end. But this is the true ending. So we've still got to figure all this stuff out. Zext has been Zexterminated, but the problem with the planet nearly blowing up still remains. So we need to figure out a solution real fast.
Solution being Noi sacrifices herself.
Or something like that. I don't exactly remember how this goes, but Noi basically does something to the Astrolab to reverse the effects of the cannon that's about to blow the Earth so that it actually manages to seal the core of the planet back up instead. The problem is, this consumes the Noi.
Do you remember when we first meet?
Yes, indeed. The fan translation has a really unfortunate typo in this scene. Yeah. Selim and Claire agree to stay behind on Lost Heaven in order to make sure everything goes right. And yeah, I forgot to mention that Noi is actually the idol of the Astrolab.
A nice PowerPoint slideshow of an ending cutscene.
So she basically takes the responsibility upon herself and consumes herself in the process.
can't type.
Oh, we're talking about typos, and then you
oh.
bibble or thump. So, the ending to any percent is kinda somber and bittersweet. But that's what the true ending is for, to make everything right regardless of actual plot resolution. So now the main story ends, and the after story begins. One year has passed since the events of the main story, and Lyra has actually finally managed to arrange some sort of date with Nayuta.
Finally.
Actual character development. Take that, half of CS1.
Wow.
Sorry, that was kind of tasteless.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Food will come in a few minutes. I'm actually not allowed to make food right now. I have to trigger the main plot event in After Story. Get out. Don't worry, I'll be out of here in like 20 minutes.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me! Feed me! God, if I weren't occupied with the run, I'd put a GIF of that guy from Dexter's Laboratory in here. Because, God, Christ's sake, you people are hungry. Why is everybody obsessed with lunch? I don't know. It's 10 in the morning. Who has lunch this early?
Also, for somehow Noi's back.
Oh, yes. This is a different Noi, though. Complete with a different temperament and different voice lines, interestingly enough.
Okay, du fromage.
I think I remember Sean Chiplock actually said that at some point, because the guy's a freaking meme lord.
Really? Only du fromage?
Yeah, something like that.
Ora no bandana.
Ore no omelette. So, in between the events of the main story and the after story, something happened in the Astrolab. Claire and Selim went to investigate, but they got trapped inside, and an alternate Noi was created as a backup measure. So, in the after story, we've got to figure out what happened and how to fix this. There's a whole ton of new stuff that opens up in the after story, but we're not going to do any of it. Instead, we're going to go straight to the final boss. And we're going to accomplish that by cooking lunch.
Yay! Finally!
Yes, I will cook all of the bloody lunches you guys want. I actually need to cook some lunch here because I need to get to level 35. And, alright, you guys want lunch? You're gonna get lunch. Here, have some whatever this is. Have a thing I can't read. Have some, is that tilapia? How do I know? That's a roast. I can read katakana. That's... What on earth is a tatsuta? I don't know. Here, have some more food. You want food, you got food. Actually, that's... I wasn't supposed to do that.
Uh-oh.
I forgot to make food for myself, which is bad.
Uh-oh.
Okay, this is gonna be... This is dicey. But I should be okay. Real quick, though, I'm gonna save.
McDonald's. What?
Okay, I still have my analog control. You're recommended to be level 50 for this area. We're level 35.
And we have no armor.
Yeah, we have no armor. Armor's actually visible on your character, but we never get any, so you'd never know.
You don't need no stinking armor.
So, in entering the Astrolab, we have to fight its guardian, the Labe Vorgos. And this is the most difficult fight in the game. I was supposed to pack food for myself, so that I'd have backup measures in case I take damage. I was too focused on feeding you guys, so that's not... I only have food that heals 180 health, which is not all that much.
Just don't get hit and you won't die.
Oh, genius. Why didn't I think of that? I basically have to flash guard every attack in this fight, or else I'm taking over 100 damage a pop.
Just take our food, forehead.
That attack is the one I want to see, because the overhead strike from the opposite hand can't hit me. So I can just wail on the other hand in the meantime. Whoa, that was close. Stop attacking with that hand, please.
Give us a hand here. I already made
Okay,
it,
he's
so.
being really stally today. Okay, the hands are down. This is the more difficult part of the fight now, though. He's got a ton of attacks, and all of them are very cumbersome to avoid.
And you gotta contend with getting the platform high enough to hit him.
Yeah, I have to raise the platform by hitting these gears here. That fire is a lot more difficult to dodge than it looks, because its hitbox is incredibly awkward. And if he uses it... Okay, good, he's using bombs. Those despawn when you raise the platform, so I would prefer to see him use those.
Just kill him, forehead.
I have to repeat this process a total of 3 times.
Too bad you don't have Noi here.
Yeah, you don't have Noi, which really sucks. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, what's he gonna do now? Probably fire. Yeah, fire. I should be fine, though. I think that's too far away. So now we have these bars on the floor. They don't deal that much damage, but they mess up your chain, and that's really obnoxious. They can also prevent you from dodging other attacks. Okay, good. Bombs. I don't mind bombs there, because those are out of my way. Oh dear.
Bombs away.
That was very dicey. Sometimes, the fire can also hit you even when he's using it on a level below. It's just got that awkward of a hitbox. Okay, on to the final repetition. Oh god, that's bad. Okay, managed to dodge it. Oh. Darn. Shoot.
You roll right into the fire bar.
Oh god. That fire bar nearly got me hit by a laser. Okay, bombs. Bombs are fine. Fire is not. Shh. The homing on the laser also gets a little bit better with each repetition.
No, you don't want me to play with this game. I'm awful at this game.
So, you need to bear that in mind, too. I'm sorry that I'm not talking all that much, I just really need to concentrate during this fight.
No, it's cool. You're focusing. I'm letting everyone enjoy the music here.
Yeah, this music is great.
You first. You do hit list percent first, and then I'll do it.
Okay, that's the fight down. Oh my god. That is a whole lot tougher than I made it look, trust me. And being able to beat that boss without healing is very, very nice for the next phase of the fight. Ooh. So as Zunar mentioned previously, the final boss is Noi. And this was due to manifested malevolent feelings of isolation and separation that she accrued from basically being alone in the Astrolab the entire time. At least that's what I understand. So Noi has a...
The entire time meaning like the year between the normal ending and after Noi, I guess. Yeah.
So Noi has a whole ton of nasty attacks that she can throw at you, and her attack set changes every 5,000 health she loses. Attacking these minions that she spawns will send them back at her dealing damage, and they are also affected by the strength up bonus. So the main strategy for this fight is, for the love of God, don't stop moving! Okay, she's at 20,000 health. I need to wait a bit. I'm gonna refresh my chain. Now she's vulnerable again. And now she's in the winter phase, which is very obnoxious because of these tornado attacks. These can transcend the entire arena, and they phase through her as well, so it's difficult to actually dodge them. Oh, ooh, wow, how did I dodge that? Okay. I'm just gonna run away from that. I can guard it, but it's very difficult with depth perception. Okay, I took a hit. Ooh. That's bad. Had icicles spawn right on top of me. Yeah, more chain equals more damage. God. Okay, one more hit and she'll be on to the next phase. This phase is really obnoxious because the floor is lava.
Literally, the floor is lava.
And she also has a whole bunch of attacks that limit your range. For example, she has that, which you have to jump to dodge or do a really precisely timed guard. Oof, that's a meteor. This is the phase I usually take the most damage on. Ah, that still hit me.
He bursts so she doesn't take a turn. You should be level 50 here. He's level 38.
Okay, I'm gonna heal. Okay, that's this phase done.
Also, yeah, you normally have armor too. He has no armor and he's under leveled.
This last one isn't all that bad, depending on what she does. That's fine, I can outmaneuver that. That's not good! That attack is really obnoxious to dodge, depending on where she uses it.
Just avoid the damage, forehead.
That's bad. How did I dodge that? Okay, that's the last hit on this phase. This fight is just about over. I gotta do that one more time. And then that will be the end of Nayuta Boundless Trails. Three. Two. One. And time!
Done. Nice. GG. And you leveled up too. Yes, there is an English patch to this. However, it is a little bit on the rocky side.
So, that was a decent run, all things considered. That was about 7 minutes off of my PB. Nobody's done a 100% run. I don't even know what would constitute 100% run. Because
all the stamps.
One of the in-game achievements, which presumably would count, is having the in-game timer hit 50 hours.
Oh wow.
So that's not really it's like Baten Kaitos.
Yeah.
My PB is 30950. So this wasn't a bad run at all, despite a whole lot of mistakes. But thank you very much for tuning in to Nayuta Boundless Trails. I hope that this run motivated you to maybe give the game a shot, because in my opinion, this is a hidden Falcom gem and their swan song to the PSP. It's incredibly worth your while. So with that,
I'm working on it casually myself. I just haven't finished it yet. But
yeah, I'm about to induct a new member into the speedrunning club. This game is available on PSP and PlayStation Network, which means you can download it onto a PS Vita and a PS TV. So with that, I'm going to let the ending theme, Nayuta no Omoi, play out, and we're going to get ready for the next run, Trails of Cold Steel by Scent. Don't go anywhere, we've got more trails coming right up.
汚れた願いが楽園を泣かせても帰りに学べば道は続くきっと時を分け合う季節たちよ僕たちもそうあれば星が人を信じたみたいに僕も人を信じて生きよう運命は眠らない絆を紡ぐ限り守るべきものはいつも人の中にそれは遥か交わした約束今日も星は世界を見つめる星が人を愛したみたいに僕も人を愛して生きよう